Hello, and welcome to Insightful Conversations with your host, 3 Principles practitioner, Del A.D. Jones. Join her each week as she welcomes some of the world's leading 3 Principles teachers and practitioners who share how this understanding has dramatically improved the quality of their lives and the lives of those they work with.
I'm thrilled to have in the studio today with me Cassandra Ogier, who is the founder and director of The Reflective Horse, providing equine and nature-based experiences from the understanding of the principles. She's a pioneer in the field of equine guided education and equine assisted therapy, and a leading name in the development of horse-based personal reflection programs. In her practice spanning over a decade, Cassandra partners with horses as allies and spiritual guides, serving multiple clients, the demographics from corporate leaders to adults and teenagers recovering from trauma, addiction, and mental health challenges. She sees how this natural portal to insight-based learning influences and uncovers each person's true essence, grounded presence, and innate connection to limitless potential. So, hi, Cassandra. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So we've just come back from this amazing trip together. We were just discussing it in Peru. And you were telling me back then about how you first started in this. And so when did you first start working with horses, or when did you even feel that connection, something special with horses?
So when I was probably about 6, I first had my encounter with horses. And I feel like it really informed and grounded me in my life, even at that time, with a bit of a chaotic childhood. And definitely I had that sense that it was, a peaceful place and somewhere where I could connect, without the, the chatter and the everything that was kind of going on in my life. So that was the very beginning.
So was that sort of like an unconditional love you felt with horses, or what was the connection?
I felt like very simple, no judgment. There's no verbal communication. It's all experiential, and being in nature as well really kind of led that. So yeah.
So did you always know you were going to go into the therapeutic world with working with horses, or did you do something else on the way?
No. So, I probably went a similar route to, a lot of young women growing up. And I rode horses and, went down to the farm every morning at 4 a.m. to get my rides in. And actually, when I left school, I worked with horses in England in hunting yards, fox hunting yards, so training horses. And it wasn't until after I'd had my 3 sons that I revisited being with horses. And I had the opportunity actually to ride with a jockey from the Paolio, which is the crazy bareback race in Siena in Italy.
Yeah.
And really what I wanted to do was take all the tools of control away and explore the relationship with the horse without, metal in the mouth, without a saddle. And it was a huge personal development piece for me, just in trust, in connecting somatically with, my center, with, being very present with the horse. And
how old were you then?
I was actually... It was in my mid-30s.
Okay.
Because I'd had my 3 sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So prior to that, you'd always used, like you said, I love that, what's not a kind phrase, but the control methods of a bridle and things like that, and a saddle.
Yes.
So this was you actually just riding bareback.
Completely.
Yeah.
With
Wonderful.
no tools.
Wow.
And Roberto, who was my teacher, literally rode me through the forest with a rope, and sometimes I didn't even have anything to hold on to but just the mane of the horse. So there was a point where, it took a while, but there was a point where he let the horse go, and I think I had a rope, and we went kind of down a ditch and back up the hill, and I suddenly felt like I was at one with the horse. Really, it was
now was this galloping or cantering or walking? Or
it
what?
was cantering.
Yeah.
Cantering.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe I know that word.
I
It's
know,
coming back
that's
from my
great.
childhood.
Yeah.
I think I shared with you my sister. We used to sort of get a loan a horse over the winter months, and we didn't have all the accoutrements either. So my sister would love to sort of jump on the back of a horse and grab the mane and just sort of gallop off with it.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a fearlessness about
Yeah.
that when I was a child, and with your sister, there's something about not the restriction or the thinking that we could get into trouble or we could fall off. It's just so spontaneous. And I think that really that's kind of what I revisited in my 30s with Roberto, was remembering something that was before fear, before thinking,
and it must, the horse must, connect with you on such more of a deeper level too, trusting you that you weren't hurting it or trying to control it, that you were one with the horse.
That it's a relationship.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a relationship. Yeah, exactly.
So from that, I know that you went into, about 10 years ago, you went into the field of therapeutic work with horses. I know you're not a therapist, you're a coach. But how did that come about?
Well, I think that it's just to lead on from that work with Roberto. In England, I was working in schools with teenagers and also parents and teachers in emotional intelligence models and communication models. So whilst I was working with the horses, I was also going into schools with, small teams. And I started seeing that there was something about the teenagers and how I thought they could be really informed by being with the horses. So that was an idea that came to me in England.
Wow.
But there wasn't really anything out there in England that I could see at the time, which was probably sort of early 2000s.
Wow.
And then I made the transition with my family to come over to California. And I started looking around, and I could see that there was equine-assisted psychotherapy, which was something that was, rising up. A lot of it, the time working with either prisoners in prison or, teenagers in recovery, adults in recovery. So I did take all those trainings. I started in Belgium, but then I took some more trainings when I came to the States, and then got into Equine Guided Education, which is more of the coaching modality that I was trained in 2007.
Wow. So when did you come across the principles, and how did that impact your life?
Yeah. So I, as I was saying to you before, that I feel like I've always been coming from that understanding of the principles, and especially working with horses, because it is this simplified taking away of our of the chatter in the mind, and a lot of what I do with the horses is actually helping people to ground themselves in the body. It's in nature. There's a peaceful setting, and just being around the horses in their grounded presence, which of course they are all the time, it takes away a lot of the personal thinking. And people, I think the main part of it is that there's an awareness of when you're in your thinking and when you're not. So it's kind of like being in a meditation of in some way, although it's not. It's not descriptive. It's not like we're going to meditate. It's just the nature of being around horses brings that grounded presence.
Now, I'm fascinated because I don't know anything about this, but I'm just curious, and we'll go back to that last question I had in a second.
Yeah.
But you say that horses mirror where you're at. I think I reflect. I mean, obviously, reflective horse. That's what they're doing. They're reflecting. So if you have somebody that comes in that's in an agitated state, lots of busy thinking, and things like, how does the horse? I mean, does the horse become agitated? Okay.
Yes. I mean, really great examples of that are working with teenagers.
Yeah.
So I think that a good way to explain it is that I would sometimes work with horses in an arena when I'm working in LA, and rather than put the teenagers in with the horses straight away, we'd actually observe them. And it's really interesting because if the teenagers came in all hyped up, and there was, they've come from wherever they've come from, they come on a bus, there's a lot going on, and we'd put the horses in the arena and they would go absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So it was almost like taking the experience, their internal experience, and have it kind of mirrored in the space.
Yeah.
So even, at that point, it starts off conversations.
Yeah.
Young people are saying like, he's the boss, she's left out, there's all of this kind of, their internal dialogue is kind of being projected onto the horses. Yeah. And then there's the question of, do you want to go in there, in this state of mind? Yeah. So then there's the responsibility piece, like, yes, maybe if I calm myself down and just start to notice your breathing, then you see the horses actually quieten down. Yeah. So in that way, it's totally a mirror.
So funny. I was like, when you were describing that, it's like sort of the herd of children
yes.
with all their pecking orders of who's this and who's that.
Yeah.
And then that's mirrored in the herd of horses.
Yeah,
That's so
it's
funny.
true. It's really true.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So back to my question then. You started to answer it about when you first came across the principles, it wasn't like it was something new.
Yeah.
It was something that resonated in you, where you
Yes.
felt that you were already coming from that place
Yes.
with the work you were doing.
Yeah.
How did it sort of like, did it, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, did it...
Well, how did it click?
How
really,
did it
with
click
the
exactly? Or
horses?
did
Yeah.
it validate what you were doing? How did you expand upon it?
Yeah, I think it did validate what I was doing. And I think the biggest takeaway was that a lot of the time my clients would think it was the horses. So people would come for, a weekend and then think, I need to be around horses more, I need to be around nature more. But actually, the clear realization for me was that it's not the horses. The horses are, I like to say, a portal to experiencing when you're in your thinking and your personal mind and you're really caught up in that, and then when you're not. And just as I said, the nature of being around them is that you need to have a 360 awareness to be with a 1,500-pound animal. Yes. So, the presence in the moment is not something that's manufactured. It's not like me saying, okay, you need to just be present in the moment. The fact that we're in an environment where the horses are around us means that we need to have that 360 awareness. And 360 awareness, or just awareness, requires being present in the moment in a natural process. Yeah. So I think that, back to the question with the principles, I could see that it was the horses are just an access point to bringing people into that awareness, into the present moment, and noticing when they're caught up in their thinking and when they're not. And interestingly, when you're in your thinking, the horses don't want to be around you.
Really? I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Can you fake it with them?
No, that's the thing. Horses don't lie. That just the nature of their awareness and their survival is to actually know the intention of another. So say if there was a mountain lion on the hill, the horses are going to know whether that mountain lion has eaten a meal and is walking past, or whether it has an intention to be attacking. So they're reading intention constantly. It's like that's how they read the environment. So really they're just reading our emotional terrain. And when we settle down, they want to be around that energy because it's safe.
Yes.
It feels comfortable.
Now, how do they react to fear? Because I'm imagining there's quite a few people would get in there with, how many, what did you say, the weight of a horse again?
Like 1,500
15,
pounds.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when somebody has a fear of actually that sort of the magnitude of these animals, how does a horse react to that?
I think that it is circumstantial. So, it really depends. But when when there's a lot of fear, horses seem to not want to be around that.
Wow.
So in a way, when you're fearful, you're projecting some kind of a boundary. And the horses pick up on that. So, it's unlikely that the horse is going to walk into your space.
Okay.
But they may have some anxiety themselves and be uncertain about whether they should approach or whether they shouldn't. So we set it up that, I'm sure that probably a lot of people that know horses know that if you are in an anxious state and you're on a horse, the horse is kind of going to freak out too.
Exactly.
And that's where, people have experiences where they've been on a horse, become frightened, and then everything's escalated. So it's almost like deconstructing that. Yeah. And just getting people into the realization that when they do calm down and when they start breathing and when they start relaxing their body, that everything actually starts to calm down. So it's a great metaphor for, when we get caught up in our thought and when we're more relaxed and allowing, and that's when the horse is more likely to approach. And when fear comes up again, they're more likely to stop.
Now, what about things like, I know that it's this form of therapeutic use with the horses is used in addiction, a lot with addiction. How does that specifically, is it just in the grounding and the centering, or how does somebody sort of overcome some sort of, dealings with addiction or trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder?
It really is. I mean, it's all the same. It's all in the same. Yeah. It's all in the same realm. That there's something about being in the presence of a horse, which has been measured, like heart math, and just seeing the resonance that the horse's energy has on people. So there's an element of it that's kind of undefinable and a little magic. Yeah. But I think that there is something about the non-judgment of feeling safe, and that when you're intrinsically you and when you're in your authenticity, which is underlying, any mental challenge or any addiction, the horses respond to that. And I think that what I see is that people who are defining themselves by, their trauma or by their addiction, when they come around the horses are not seeing any of those, those ideas or concepts that they have about themselves. So when that's actually felt, that it's not that they're following anything that is other than your true nature. It's almost like a validation of that part of yourself, that whatever it is that your problem or your issue might be is not what the horses are responding to.
I love that. So it's not about, a habit that you found yourself sort of repeating, and it's not about a past trauma or event that happened in the past. It's so just about being present to who you are at your essence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So that reflection is really powerful in itself. And then obviously there's each individual has their own experience. And as you mentioned, when you understand that grounding yourself can calm everything, not only you, but the environment around you. Yeah. It's something that it becomes very tangible, and if it's talk therapy, then you can talk about all those things and there can be an intellectual understanding, but it's bringing it into the body and experiencing the body.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. I was going to mention that. So the difference between talk therapy is it stays up here. Lots of great concepts, but they say it's that the greatest distance is between here and here. And the type of equine therapy, well, no, you're not an equine therapist, but the therapy that you do with horses, it just is, it's just so in the body, it's so experiential, it's just there. That's where you get your insights.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I know that you do, you've got a few things coming up, and I'm very excited to hear about them. I know one is called the Mastery Program, and you're incorporating Or explain it to us. I know it's a
Yeah.
10-month program.
It is. It's a 10-month program, the mastery program. It's incorporating the 3 principles, coming from that understanding. And originally, I created it as a program for other facilitators who wanted to go into the world and use equine guided empowerment or equine guided education to teach others. But as I went along, I realized that it was going to be beneficial to so many people to actually have that experience of the embodiment and the somatic learning, being with the horses, and then also all the way through the 10 months, we've got 3 principles practitioners, also people who are coaching with horses and using those modalities. So each month there's a webinar with these selected great teachers.
I was looking on your website. You've got Jack Pransky, Rohini Ross, Natasha Swerdloff, and
I've got Dickon.
Dickon Bettinger.
Yeah.
Fabulous. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I've got Brad Gallup and Sumaya Abaheda. So there's a lot of people that are working in the principles and who aren't the main teachers, but then we've got some really special teachers who I feel really have a real understanding of that nature perspective. So they're coming from that simplicity and that spiritual nature. And then there's also mentorship webinars with me. So basically throughout the 10 months, we're actually connecting every 2 weeks. So it's an ongoing process with 3 on-site modules where we'll be with the horses.
And just to clarify too, you don't have to ride horses to work with horses. So even people that were like, oh, I've never been on a horse, that's too scary for me.
Exactly.
You can still benefit from this.
Yeah, there's no riding involved. I know we started talking about how I got into it, but actually in these programs, it's all on the ground immersions with the horses. So actually it doesn't matter if you know nothing about horses, but if you're drawn to the nature-based experience and something that is, the 3 principles, I think, it comes in different ways. You and I have sat together with some amazing teachers, and there's one teacher, it resonates more, and I think that's the beauty of us all offering something that, may really impact somebody and not so much the other. So, it's something that if you follow your guts on what it is that you want to follow, then yes.
I always call it my 3P box of chocolates. I love all the different flavors, all the different, you might have your favorite, but we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
But somebody says it in such a way that it resonates. You hear it.
Yeah.
I just love hearing it from a variety of different teachers. That's what I love about this understanding, is it just keeps deepening and deepening.
Yes.
So I know you also have another one coming up, which I am toying with in Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
Not a 10-month commitment, but explain what that is more about.
So I've developed a really lovely relationship with Costa Rica and some horses in Costa Rica, and I do a week-long retreat, and this one is completely off the grid. So it's near the ocean in the Guanacaste province, with some really lovely friends who have a small retreat center. So actually when we arrive there's going to be no cars. We're not going to get in a car. There's access to Wi-Fi if you really need it, but the opportunity is to just be completely off the grid, connecting with the horses daily, walking, just exploring nature and the principles too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wanted to ride, could they ride, or is that just a separate thing?
That week program is there's going to be no riding with those horses. It's just going to be about the relationship that we develop with the horses and the insights that come through that relationship. But also, I do know some wonderful people that do have horse riding, so that would be something that people could do before or after.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So anything else coming up that you might be doing?
I think those 2 are the big ones. Yeah.
But you also do you live in Topanga, and I know you do one-on-one coaching too.
I do one-on-one coaching. At the moment, I'm not offering that with the horses at the moment in Topanga, but often people that work with me with the horses for, a weekend or a retreat, they'll continue on coaching, with me for as long as they want to.
Exactly.
I find that portal, there's a resonance which carries through with
Yeah.
individual coaching too.
Yeah, and that's what's so wonderful that you mentioned that, and they really get to see that it's not necessarily that they don't need the horse.
Yeah.
Once they've accessed that part within them that the horse is reflecting, that part of calm and their essence, that they can continue to explore the three principles without having to be in the presence of horses. So that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
And what I love about what we said in the beginning, before we started, was that this is nothing new. We're calling it the three principles, but so many of my clients, I just see this innate well-being that's there, and it doesn't have to have, any kind of a label. It's almost like remembering, or just knowing that innate wellness is always there and always available.
I know, and it's such a relief. I don't know about you, but I was on this, striving for something. Once I get this, I will be more comfortable. I'll be more confident. I'll be more whatever, more.
Yeah.
And there was always a striving for something outside of myself to find that peace. And what I love about the principles, it's just like, no, just turn around and go home.
Yeah.
It's already inside you. There's nothing to
Absolutely.
gain. And again, Sid, he didn't discover this. It's what's been talked about for millenniums in philosophies and religions and spirituality. It's just an understanding that we all have inside ourselves. We already know it.
Yeah.
That, we're perfectly whole on the inside already. We all have that innate well-being.
Yeah, and it takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Which is what you're saying you experienced. And I think that's probably something that I had going on as well, is, there's a pressure for something, and we don't really get the opportunity to slow down in the way that I experience with the horses, and then realizing that actually that's where so much of our information is coming from, is being able to be quiet and to be informed from that place rather than a busy mind. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, can you believe it? We're running out of time.
Wow.
So just share again your website where people can look up all the things that you're offering, all the upcoming events and programs you're doing.
Yeah. So the reflectivehorse.com. And the mastery program is on that. There's all the information there.
And that starts in
May.
In May, wow.
Beginning of May, so it's coming up soon. And that goes on till February 2020, which is amazing that we've got a 10-month span.
I know.
And also the Horse Wisdom and Embodied Spirit is the retreat in Costa Rica in July.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks,
It's been
Del.
so lovely. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you this weekend.
See you this weekend.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.